What's up, peeps? Welcome to the Up and After podcast. Grab a mug. Let's have a talk.
What do you want? It's too early for visitors.
I then awake as refreshed and recharged as a newborn child, ready to take on the day's challenges.
Welcome to the Up and After podcast for the month of July in the year of our Lord 2022. I am your host for today, and Chris, I'm trying to do my opening.
Sorry. Go ahead. You got it. You got this, dude. Go ahead.
Alright, as I was saying, I will be your guide today through our beautiful, friendly podcast. But, of course, as with the Sith, always two there are. And my noble Padawan... actually, who's the Padawan here between you and me?
I'll be Padawan.
Okay, alright, and I'll be the Dark Emperor.
You will try.
And today, we're talking about a very strange movie. Some might call it fantastical, or amazing, or perhaps even incredible.
You know what's funny about this opening, right?
Yeah.
Is it can literally be any other hero movie, because you said it's strange, so Doctor Strange. It could be fantastical, so Fantastic Four.
Ooh,
It can be amazing, so Amazing Spider-Man. But you end it with incredible. And today we're talking about
The Incredible Hulk from 2008.
Yes, Woo!
Wow. This movie came out 14 years ago.
Woo!
Wow. Man, this is a very strange movie.
It is very strange.
It's the only one that was done in part with Universal, I think. As far as my light research could go, I believe it's the only Universal partnered one, and I believe to this day Universal still holds the Hulk film rights. So
Really?
yeah, Marvel could do movies with could do a fucking Hulk movie, but they would have to do it with Universal again, I believe. I could be wrong about that.
Wow, I didn't know. I mean, with light research, that's pretty crazy. I did not know that.
I did a good amount of light research because there's actually a lot of really fun stories behind the making of this movie.
Oh man, I gotta hear all of them because I don't know like a lot of them. So,
but just in general, like even beyond this being the only Universal partnered one in the MCU, this is just a really strange movie compared to all the others. I feel just like the feel of it is so much different than all the other ones, at least in phase one, I feel.
Yeah, no, I was thinking the same thing as we were watching it. We got to the scene where they're in downtown New York, and like Betty gets mad at the taxi driver, and there's like one joke, right? And I'm like, is that like the only joke in this movie other than the "you don't like me when I'm hungry"? And I'm like, this movie just feels like different.
There's not a lot of jokes, are there? I didn't really think about that until you said it, but yeah, this is a very serious, gravitas-filled movie, and that was very much intentional from what I read. The director, who is a Frenchman, whose name I'm going to butcher horribly, Louis Leterrier. It's Leterrier, but I assume the French pronunciation is more regal and pleasant sounding than my butchering of it. But yeah, his goal with this, along with actually Edward Norton, who did a lot of work on the writing in this movie, they wanted to make this very... I can go into that too, but they wanted to make this like very like dramatic, and it was supposed to be like a very, it was like a dramatic romance, and it was very heavy, and it was like a Marvel movie that adults could enjoy.
Do you Do you feel like they succeeded in trying to convey that to the audience?
Um, I think it's definitely. I think it has a lot of. Oh, my dogs are walking out. I guess they don't want to hear me talk about the Incredible Hulk, but
Don't worry, I want to hear you talk about the Incredible Hulk.
Cheers.
Your young Padawan.
If you can hear them barking, they'll probably stop soon. But they I think they did their job in trying to make it like very dramatic, just in terms of the atmosphere and the lighting and the music.
Yes.
I think where it falls short is, and this is like pretty much the theme of how I feel about this movie, is like the overall writing and scripting.
Okay.
In that, I think the movie has like these really cool
Set pieces?
set pieces and really cool like key scenes throughout the movie, but getting between them is like really shallow, and it's just filled with like them trying to character build, but I don't really feel for it, you know?
Yeah. Man, I guess we'll talk about that when we get there. But I there's a note that I wrote that is literally on what you're saying about like shallowness,
right?
in the writing.
Yeah,
which is kind of sad because, like I love Hulk. Like if like no one knows that Hulk, like if no one knows listening to this, Hulk is like my favorite hero. But I like Hulk for like Hulk side of like obviously just being a big, strong, fucking unstoppable force. But also like the idea of like Banner and Hulk are like two separate entities, and they have to like share this like almost like a body, right? And I just love the like duality of those two and like the battles they have to have with each other.
Yeah.
And how that affects the outside world that they live in. And like it's kind of hard to like convey that in the movies, but I just wish that it was. I mean, I even like for all this shit, Ong Lee Hulk is like kind of like it's kind of weird, but like I like some of the shit in Ong Lee's Hulk that they do with the character writing.
Right.
Whereas this, like you said, just feels kind of shallow. But yeah, sorry. Is there anything else you want to say?
I think I don't know. I think the best Hulk comics have, even though I haven't read too many, I'm not like a big Hulk comic person from what I've read, but it's a lot of early stuff. But I think the best Hulk stories, I should say, should have like Hulk being the external conflict character and Bruce Banner being the internal conflict character.
Right.
And with this, I think they really nail the external conflict in that he has to do battle with death itself in these big action set pieces that are really engaging. But the internal conflict, it just doesn't work for me. It really doesn't. And his relationship with Liv Tyler in this movie, I just don't really care about.
Yeah, same.
The lines they're saying are just not really interesting.
Yep.
They never really talk about why they like each other so much. I don't know. It's just like,
and maybe that comes from the fact that like, I don't know. Like I was gonna say, maybe that comes from the fact that they're already an established relationship that's like split up and then they come back together. So it's like. Well, I guess they're just like, why did we write it if you already know that they've been together before?
Well,
I guess that's what they're seeing.
It leans into the idea. Oh my god, why? She really likes Liv Tyler. Apparently, my dog over there. It's it's interesting because like this is almost like a soft sequel / reboot of Ong Lee's Hulk, where they weren't sure if this was actually going to be a sequel or a reboot. And so they were kind of writing it while they were trying to figure that out. Alright, she's done, finally.
Yeah, because Ong Lee's Hulk, like, Banner ends up being in the South America, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why they started him here, so that people who saw that movie could jump into this and have an idea of, like, what's going on. In the end, I think they did lean more towards reboot
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I guess they thought, like, I don't know. I guess they decided too late whether it was going to be a sequel or a reboot, because they couldn't. Once they decided that it was going to be more reboot, they couldn't put in more, you know, relationship establishing. So it just doesn't feel very real or depthual,
Yeah.
deep, as some might say.
Yeah. I mean, playing off the whole Liv Tyler, Edward Norton's like romance or whatever. The one note I wrote for this movie is wanted more depth in car scene with Ross. Because they're talking and she asks him like, how does it feel? And he just explains it kind of like, oh, it just feels like someone poured like a bunch of LSD in like a drink and I drunk it. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and I'm just like, okay, cool, but like, I guess I just want to hear more of like the inner demons or him being a inner demon because like he's like backseat to Hulk. Like I just wanted to hear like what is that experience like, and like it's just shout like there was nothing there. I got nothing from that engagement with Ross. It was just kind of like fucking padding to get to the next scene. Like so, yeah.
I can go more if that would go through like the movie step by step. But
Right.
just talking more about like the production. One thing I am glad about that kind of resulted from them trying to decide what this movie is going to be is that they didn't do a new origin story. They basically just like recapped his origin in the opening credits. And it's like, yeah, you get it. It's effective. It works. Everyone knows what's going on. We good. And even if you don't really know what's going on, it just makes his big reveal in the first fight scene to be more like impactful.
Right.
So I thought that was handled well.
Yeah.
I can get more into production like as we go along. If we want to talk about like just going act to act. But well, from a whole standpoint, one thing I've always said about this movie is that the first act is the best. I think the first act is the most engaging and it's the most enjoyable for me. Where it's just following him, just trying to hide in Brazil while also find out how to like cure himself.
Right.
Yeah, I just think it has a lot of. I like the filmmaking done there. I like the shots, and I like the music and the acting. I think it's all handled really well.
Right.
And then once he kind of like leaves, like after the first action scene, and once he leaves Brazil, that's when the movie kind of comes to a grinding halt. And I'm just like waiting for the next fucking waiting for the university fight basically. And I don't want that to make it seem like I'm just like in it for the fights because I'm not.
Right.
Like I do care about characters and storytelling and stuff. But it's just not engaging enough to keep me interested. So I am just waiting for the next fucking cool scene.
Yeah, it's like one of those things that's like really hard with Hulk movies. 'Cause like I said, maybe because it is so like written like so poorly. Like I don't really care what's going on in between because I know it's not like anything that engaging. Like, I do want to just see Hulk beat up shit at that point. Like I don't know, man. I'm trying to think like in Ang Lee's Hulk 2, I'm trying to think like all the shit in between is kind of meh.
Which is odd because it's like a classic story. It's like Jekyll and Hyde, you know. It's like fucking a Robert Louis Stevenson classic that like is tried and tested and proven that it can be very effective and emotional, but it's just not conveyed well. Even though that was like their goal when they were trying to make this movie, they said they wanted it to be emotional and dramatic, and they wanted it to be like a romance, but it's just not. It feels half-assed.
Yeah, it does. Like, oh, fuck.
I don't think that's what they were going for.
I know I keep bringing up Ang Lee's Hulk, and maybe we should go back and watch that.
Right.
But there's a scene where like Hulk is falling from the sky, and he like gets into a dream state. In a dream state, he's Banner, and then Banner walks to the mirror, and he wipes the mirror off just to see Hulk on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hulk says, "You puny human!" He busts through the glass and grabs him. Like that's like it feels so like that battle once again, like that inner turmoil, and just like these two characters playing off each other. So I agree that it seems like it could be well done. I just don't understand why isn't Hulk and Banner's relationship with one another the center focus of like a solo movie? Like,
yeah, and that's a much better scene than the fucking car scene you were talking about because it's the whole show don't tell thing, you know. And they didn't really have that here.
Yeah,
everything was just kind of tell. I mean, there was some like show, like there's a lot of like color work, and there is some like
green
little camera, a lot of green, yeah. But it's just like it's not engaging. I don't know. I don't hate this movie. But going in and watching it here, I'm like, man, I just forgot about how much I just check out of this. Like,
yeah, okay.
it's so dull.
I think it plays this like the one thing I can give On Link's Hulk is like it is pretty wild at times. Like there's some crazy shit in
It's
there. Like
weird.
the transitions are weird.
Yeah.
Hulk grows to be like 400 feet tall.
There's like the CG
There's
dogs and
dog
shit.
fight. But one thing I can say is like that movie's ambitious. It tries to do a lot of stuff. You have the whole Banner and his dad relationship and like abusive family. Like that, like it there's some stuff in there I could go, okay, I would love to see this like in a Hulk movie, right? And I just think it does too much at times.
Yeah.
But with this, it feels so like standard, not trying to be ambitious at all. It's trying to play it really, really safe. Like Incredible Hulk is trying to play it really, really safe. For something to be incredible is not really that incredible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that pretty much sums up a lot of my feelings here.
Yeah.
But let me see if I have some good notes to talk about. Like, I like the chase scene in Brazil in the favela. I like the music's good. It's nicely shot. There's not too many like close-ups or quick cuts or anything. It reminds me a lot of there's a mission in Modern Warfare 2 where you're running through like the Rio favela trying to catch this guy, and it reminds me a lot of that, where it's just like, it's very tight and very closed in, and it's like, they can escape anywhere though. I don't know, it's very cool. And then the first action scene, I love the first action scene with the Hulk, where they're keeping him hidden, and then they have like the really cool reveals of what he looks like. I think it's just done really well, and that's the thing, is that there's parts of this that I think are really good. Most of the action scenes are actually like really solid.
Yes, they are. Every scene that Hulk is in, which is 3, I really enjoy them. So
I'm glad you brought up that it's 3 Hulk scenes, because honestly, I could see 3 Hulk scenes in a Hulk movie being enough for me, but you need to have good stuff around it. Like, in a Hulk sandwich, the bread also needs to be good.
I agree. That's why I count Ragnarok as like a Hulk movie, because like it practically is. Like, I get character work and I get Hulk, so that's all I need.
I mean, it's like a lot of story elements in that movie are based off of like the most popular Hulk comics in modern times, So let's see.
Get the first fight, then
and they wrote, and this is where the movie gets real boring, because it does. I like seeing the stuff with Ross and Tim Roth's character. And by the way,
oh yeah, go ahead.
I like Tim Roth as a villain more than I like Jeff Bridges in Iron Man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's one thing I remember originally going like, this character is kind of stupid, but like, rewatching it, much older now. I think like I'm like, oh no, I think this character makes sense. Even like the writing makes sense. I don't mind him. I like him a lot, actually. And Ross, I like them together. So
yeah, I mean, he's not like complicated or complex in any way, but he's like, he makes sense at least, and that's why I wanted out of Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like Tim Roth in this movie. So we get like all the stuff, and one thing I wrote is like fucking Ty Burrell's character, the boyfriend guy who she just like leaves.
Yeah,
I don't get why
Dawn of
he's
the Dead.
Yeah, I don't get why he's in the movie like at all. Like he has no purpose. Like I get his character's like, you know, he becomes a character in the comics, but it's like I thought it's kind of accepted when you're making a comic book movie that you don't just throw things in case you might get a sequel, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of dumb. Even like the whole fucking Sam Stern leader stuff that they were trying to set up here, where it's like, oh, he's gonna be leader in a future movie. It's like that. How about we put some focus here? And at least it was only a few seconds. I heard a funny story about it. I wrote, they probably put him in because it's a dramatic story for adults, and there needs to be some romantic tension by having a competing love interest. And they didn't really do that.
They didn't commit to it.
Yeah. Here it says, Ty Burrell had performed with Norton previously in the off-Broadway play Burn This in 2003. And then when director Leterrier met him, he recognized Burrell as the jerk from the 2004 Dawn of the Dead remake.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And that was how Samson was characterized in the script. But then Edward Norton rewrote it and made him a lot more boring, I guess.
Yeah, that would make sense because like it seems like the scene where he's introduced in like the diner or whatever.
Right.
It seems like they were trying to go for like he's gonna be like a douchebag dude.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kind of throw it out the window.
Like it makes like a snide little remark.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that. Let me talk about the Edward Norton script stuff, actually, because I couldn't, there's nothing that is consistent about the stories behind it. So, they got Edward Norton on because he saw the potential in a Hulk character, and how it could be done in, like, a really dramatic way, and how you could, like, show the turmoil of the human soul and stuff, and all that.
Yeah.
All that grandiose stuff. And so when he was brought on, he was given a chance to rewrite the script to match what he wanted to see in the movie with like the story and character and stuff. According to sources, he was rewriting scenes every day while they were shooting. But then later on, Zach Penn, who is the credited writer on this movie, he said that he wasn't happy with Norton coming to Comic-Con saying that he wrote the script. And the Writers Guild of America, when they were explaining why they credited Zach Penn for writing the movie, they explained that Norton had not dramatically changed the script in a meaningful way. So I don't really know, what... There's just so much mystery around it. Like, what did
So what did he write?
I have no idea. It's shrouded in mystery what Norton did to this movie. And I'm wondering if that's what leads to a lot of, this kind of half-assed nature of everything. But I have no idea, because Norton is the one who said that he wanted more of, the human drama.
Right.
But that's the stuff that didn't work in this movie.
Right.
So I don't know.
But do you think because it's, it's only half that... Wait, sorry. Oh, I thought I cut out. My bad.
No, you can.
Do you think it's half-assed because they, kind of, rewrote over Norton's shit, or because Norton yeah, exactly. They changed it back.
I mean,
or
it could have just
Norton
been because there was competing fucking they were just competing for people had different visions of what they wanted, and that just led to
didn't
no
go
one
anywhere.
agreeing. Yeah,
right, okay.
I have no idea. We can only really speculate, honestly.
That's funny, dude.
So yeah, I have no idea what happened. But
now,
yes.
Because since we're talking about Norton, why didn't Norton return for Avengers and stuff? Was he doing other stuff at the time, or was it a money thing?
Again, there's not a lot of confirmed facts, but what is said is that Feige apparently made the final decision to not recast Bruce Banner to Mark Ruffalo, and funnily enough, Mark Ruffalo is actually Louis Leterrier's first pick for playing Bruce Banner before Edward Norton.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
So Feige made the ultimate decision, I think because he said they wanted to just go a different way with the character, And also, Edward Norton said he didn't want to come back because he wanted a more diverse career. Like he didn't want to be stuck into one
Locked
thing.
into,
which, funnily enough, is what ended up happening to some Marvel actors. Like
Yeah,
Robert
yeah.
Downey Jr. was kind of a victim of that until he finally managed to get away from the series.
Mhm.
So I think that's kind of why they went and I have no idea what the final thing is, but yeah, they did recast after this movie, which there's stuff I like more about Norton, there's stuff I like more about Ruffalo, and
Agreed.
I honestly think neither of them are perfect for Bruce Banner or the Hulk. I think I generally, I say generally very meaningfully, I generally prefer Mark Ruffalo more just because I get more charisma out of him.
But what about Eric Bana?
Eric Bana was good. Eric Bana was like decent.
I like Edward Norton's like awkwardness.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he's an awkward like guy. He just looks awkward. He kind of moves awkward. I think he kind of talks awkward too, which I kind of like. But I like Ruffalo's, like you said, like kind of like his charisma, and also like the way he talks about like science, quote unquote, feels real.
Right.
If Norton said something to me about, I'm like, bro, you don't know what you're talking about. Like honestly, like look at you, dude. But like you said, I think there's like I can't get both of them together, like what I mean. But yeah, I do like both of them for different reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's a complicated thing. It's one of those things where it's like I think most MCU things I think are cast like perfectly, and I think the Hulk is one where I'm like, I don't think we have the perfect Hulk, and that's okay. Not everything has to be perfect. It'd be weird if everything was perfect. But
good question: who would you cast? Who would you
I
like
have
to
no
see
idea. I'm not a
take the
fucking.
throne of
I'm
Banner?
not a casting director.
You know who I would like to see?
Yeah.
Maybe like I don't know, because I don't know what he looks like now, but I'm thinking like maybe a little like a young Banner sort of, but like fucking hold on, I don't want to say his actual name, sorry. Dylan O'Brien.
Dylan O'Brien.
Yeah, Styles.
Interesting.
Yeah, I probably would do Styles.
If I were to go for a younger looking, because I know the actor isn't actually like that young, but like younger looking Bruce Banner, maybe like Rami Malek. I don't know.
Oh, dude, that's a holy shit! I really like Rami Malek too, like as just an actor.
Yeah.
And I think he could definitely pull it off.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to see a Hulk that looks like him though.
Yeah, they have to maybe do something with that.
No shade to Rami Malek, but dude, you have a face, man. You do have a face. That's something you have. Shout out to Rami Malek. We'll have him on the podcast.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah. That's all I wanted to say about the whole Edward Norton thing. Was there any other like mystical things about Norton and his relationship with the script or anything?
Not that I wrote down. There's probably loads more stories, but that's all I have for that bit. Let me go back to actually following the movie though, because the next thing I have between the first fight scene and the fucking oh my god. Between the first fight scene and the second fight scene, the only note I have is this is where the movie gets real boring. But yeah, the second action scene's cool. Again, I really like it. There's a lot of cool stuff there. I'll talk about the effects and like all that stuff later because there's actually some cool stuff regarding the different ways they did certain effects.
They're really proud of that water. Just want to say that. Again.
Yeah, I heard you. But yeah, the second fight scene is cool, and then as soon as it's over, the movie is just like back to not interesting for me. And
like
disagree with me, please.
Yeah, because like the thing is, like I would say maybe first fight to second fight is kind of whatever, but I kind of like the in between second and third because not much is going like in terms of like like there's not a lot there in terms of a lot of set pieces. There's literally just Banner like trying to deal with like trying to get the cure, and Ross like getting healed. Not Ross, sorry. What's my dude's name? Well, Tim Roth's character, like trying to get healed, and becoming like going through fucking to chase Banner, right?
Right.
And I think that all that's pretty cool. Like I think that still kept me interested. I'm like, oh, okay, where are they going with this? You know what I mean? Like I thought that was pretty interesting. I wouldn't say it comes to like a dead halt or anything. Is it slower? Yeah, but like not to the point where it made me go, oh my god, this movie fucking like, you know what I mean? Like not like that. Like I didn't feel like I was dragging my toes or anything. Maybe taking a walk. But that's about it.
Yeah, no, I don't. I didn't see it. I fucking.
That's fair. That's fair.
No, I'm saying it just, yeah, for me it was completely just like, well, I'm not engaged right now.
Right, okay.
Please help me. And then I think the part that kind of pulls him back in is when they introduce what's his face character, Tim Blake Nelson's guy, fucking Samuel Stern. I think he's like is one of my favorite characters in the movie, just because he has by far the most charisma out of everyone.
Yeah, I like his character a lot.
And I really like how he's bouncing off the other two, and that they're just kind of like really fucking weirded out by this guy.
Yeah.
So he comes in, and I think the movie is basically like fine from then on out. Where I'm just like, all
I guess
right,
that's what I was talking about. I was talking about that. Cause
right,
like, my mind picked up from that point, I guess. So
yeah.
maybe you're right about that.
Like for me, the movie is broken into like the first act from the start to when he escapes Brazil. The second act is like everything from then to like when they like finally get to New York, and then the third act is them meeting Stern, and then to the end of the movie.
Oh, okay.
That might not be. I'm not a fucking writer, so I don't know how to.
Mine's broken down into fights, so
okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, okay.
But yeah, going back, I forgot to talk about. We talked about this while we were watching, but you were saying they're really proud of the water. The CG in this movie is something that a lot of people like to pick apart and criticize, and I don't agree with most of the criticisms. I actually think the CG, for the most part, looks passable. There's just certain parts that really like don't gel with me, and one of them is like the rain cave dark scene.
That's a weird scene.
It's just, it doesn't look great, and like one of the tricks with CG is if you put it in darkness, it's a lot harder to see the flaws. But then they just decide to cover it in rain and flash it with lightning. It's like, well, you know.
I mean, the scene at the very beginning where Hulk turns around and he looks at Roth's character, and it's like, that looks so good. Like, I love that scene.
There's a lot of bits where the Hulk looks really good, and then some parts where he doesn't. Even like the university fight in full daylight, I think for the most part it looks okay. Like it doesn't look awful to me. I've seen some people say like, yeah, this looks so awful. It looks like garbage. And I'm like, nah, man, it looks okay.
Yeah, I would agree. Also, the Incredible Hulk has my favorite like looking Hulk. I still have yet to see a Hulk that like really, I don't know. I just really I love his hair. I love like the way his muscles look. Like they really look stretched and like, yeah, it just looks really good. I just love looking at this Hulk.
Do you like his,
whereas like,
do you like his jeans?
Yeah, I like his jeans.
I'm looking at the poster now, and I just like noticed that he's just wearing jeans.
Yeah, a little Gene Hulk. But
that's his first name.
Gene Hulk.
Gene Hulk.
And also like, oh fuck, I was gonna say something. It was about like
I'm sorry,
comparison.
I fucked you up.
No, you're fine.
Who's your favorite Hulk?
Yeah, I was gonna say something about his look.
You like the hair?
Oh,
all right, cool.
And also, this Hulk doesn't look like Edward Norton to me. Like I can't see it. Like it just looks like they just created like a face. Whereas like Ang Lee's Hulk definitely looks like I just said his name. I can't even remember it. But it looks like him. And then with
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo's character, like Hulk looks like Ruffalo too.
Right.
Even though I think they've changed his face quite a few times.
Well, they
during,
keep
like,
developing
all
the
his
technology to make it look more and more like him.
more. Yeah. Whereas I would also say I kind of maybe like Avengers Hulk probably the most. Like,
Yeah, I think I would agree.
because I don't need Hulk to look like Ruffalo or like Banner. Like, but I get why he does. I'm not against it. But yeah, this Hulk is my favorite looking Hulk.
Right.
Yeah. Also, I like his green. His green palette is it's kind of like faded out dark.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. It looks really good.
I actually read
So.
something about that. I didn't write down, but I read that they explained that and how they chose the color of his skin. They explained it as like, if someone actually had green blood, then it would actually make their skin look a lot darker as opposed to more fluorescent green. I'm like, I mean, sure,
Dude,
I get
he
it.
was like lime green in Ong Lee's Hulk.
Yeah.
So
I remember.
yeah.
Anyway, and then the final fight is cool again. Like, I think all the action is just like cool. Like, I don't have a lot of problems with it. I think the design of Final Abomination is cool. The CG's like spotty in some places, but it's cool.
Yeah.
It's fine in others. I like the bits where he's like using his bones against him, and I like how they incorporate that. Like, they do more than just make it big guy on big guy. They do show like the differences between them.
Yeah, it's very visceral.
And then
use of weapons. Sorry, I really like the use of weapons.
Yeah, indeed. I agree. And then the movie kind of just like ends after the fight very suddenly. They don't really like resolve a lot,
Yeah, I assume, because like the whole movie, because we didn't really talk about what Ross is trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
But like Ross is basically trying to get Banner so he can, like Riley said, reverse engineer him to use him like Hulk as a weapon.
Right.
And I assume at the very end, when Banner kicks Abomination across, it's kind of like, okay, well, here you go if you want something to reverse engineer. But like that's never like said. Like, this is one of those times where maybe telling is better than showing, because I'm not getting like if that's what you're trying to say. You see what I'm saying? But I don't know. Yeah. Like you said, it just feels kind of like, oh, okay, this is the end of the movie. It just cuts off.
Yeah, and I think more of that is them wanting, like, expecting to do a sequel, I guess, because they did set up a lot of stuff that they could have used for a sequel. But again, when you're writing a comic book movie or any movie in general, focus on what you have. You can think about the sequel later, But that's it for like the overall core of the movie. I have a lot more. Well, I don't know how much more, but I have some more production stuff just in general.
Okay.
Let's see. I did write that the opening credits, like, they feel very kind of like Spider-Man, X-Men to me.
Yeah, I was thinking that very early 2000s.
Yeah,
I mean, it's sort of getting out of that, but yeah,
it is 2008.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's a very. My dog apparently loves the early 2000s. I don't even know. I don't even know if the bark is coming through, but if it is, you know why.
Well, I can hear it from time to time.
It won't be too loud, luckily.
No, it's not.
So, let's see. Okay, I did write one thing. So I knew about, like, the Lou Ferrigno cameo where he's, like, the security guard, and he also does, like, the voice work, right? Like, he does a lot of grunts. He does that for, like, the whole MCU. But one thing I didn't know is that the restaurant owner, fucking, what's his face, Stanley,
yeah,
he is played by the guy who did the voice role of Bruce Banner in the 1966 Avengers animated series.
What?
Do you remember? Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't seen that, dude.
It's like they had like Xeroxed copies of the comics that they use as the base for the animations.
Oh,
and they're like 2-frame animation things.
Wait, is that the thing that you guys showed me with Captain America?
Yeah,
Is that,
that's like
the
one of
same-
them. Yeah, it's the same style as that.
Okay, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he voiced Bruce Banner all the way back in 1966.
Jeez Louise.
Back when the comics
Stanley's
were still
looking
new.
good. Looking good for 2008.
Let's see. So I have here, after the release of, I just copied this right from fucking, I mainly just trilled the Wikipedia page just for general stuff, because why go digging further, into articles and shit.
Yeah.
God willing. After the release of Ang Lee's Hulk, screenwriter James Schamus was planning a sequel which would continue the story. He was planning to feature Grey Hulk in the movie.
Ugh.
He was also considering the Leader and the Abomination to return as villains. Or not return, this is actually for the sequel to Ang Lee's Hulk. But he was considering them for villains. But Marvel decided to go with the Abomination because they wanted a villain who would be an actual threat to the Hulk, unlike General Ross.
Oh,
And I thought that was a really
true.
funny quote.
That's true.
Even though General Ross gets superpowers later, but whatever.
Does he?
Yeah, he becomes Red Hulk.
Oh, is Red Hulk General Ross?
I believe he was. I haven't read it. But
I don't read
think
a
I
lot
know
of
that.
like Hulk comics, but
Anyway.
wow, I did not know that.
So let's see. Edward, I already did the Edward Norton script stuff. Oh,
Yeah.
So the director Louis Leterrier,
Yeah.
he cited Andy Serkis's motion capture of Gollum and King Kong from the Lord of the Rings and the King Kong movie, respectively,
Yeah.
as the standard that they were aiming for. Right?
Wait,
What?
wait.
What?
Oh, you saying King Kong?
Yeah.
Okay. You said King Kong. I thought Monkey, and I thought Planet of the Apes, because Andy Serkis did
He did Caesar.
Caesar, yeah.
Yeah.
And I automatically was like, wait, that movie came out before this? And I was like, the CGI in that movie's pretty fucking good. Like, how did But no, I got you. Sorry, I'm with you now.
So Andy Serkis as Gollum and King Kong were the standard that they were aiming for motion capture CGI. And I can confirm that they did not reach that standard. However, like I said, it's fine in a lot of places. But he also cited as inspiration for the transformation scenes from transforming from Bruce Banner to Hulk. One of the biggest inspirations for that was American Werewolf in London. And I'm like, oh well, I can actually definitely see that. I could very much see the inspiration there, like the very visceral, like bone cracking, where they're like screaming in pain and stuff. Yeah, I could see that. So
his forehead extending.
Yeah, so you got that one down. Except with CGI as opposed to practical effects, which I'll go into the effects a little later. This one makes no sense to me. So there's a visual effects company that they hired out for this movie called Image Engine, and I don't know how much of the effects they did, but they did the shot where his blood falls in the factory down onto like the bottle.
Okay,
they did that visual effects shot,
Okay.
and apparently they spent over a year working on it. And I'm like, how is that possible?
How? Wait,
It's like a fucking 6-second shot.
what?
I don't get it. Anyway, they didn't provide any more information, but I just thought that was incredible. Here's another one. The more I read about this fucking Louis Leterrier guy, the more I'm like, I kind of like this guy, but I'm also kind of like weirded out by him. So he actually took charge in redesigning Abomination for this movie, so he didn't look like how he does in the comics. And that's why he doesn't have like the fins and like the more kind of like aquatic kind of look that he has in the comics, and that they eventually give him in Shang-Chi now. But at one point he wanted to give Abomination pointed ears. But he realized, this is the quote, this is the exact quote I'm quoting here. he realized the Hulk would bite them off, parentheses, using the example of Mike Tyson when he fought Evander Holyfield. And he felt that ignoring that would make the Hulk come across as stupid.
Oh my god, dude. Yo. I guess he's right. He's not wrong. I could definitely see that scene where he's like choking him out with the chain. He just takes a big fucking bite out of his ear.
Yeah.
Like
Hulk Tyson over here. Anyway, so the last thing I have is regarding a lot of the effects. So originally for Hulk himself, they were going to use a mix of CGI, prosthetics, and animatronics. Sort of like how they did in Jurassic Park, where, you know, the dinosaurs, a lot of them are CGI, some of them are like costumes, puppets, animatronics, and prosthetics.
Right.
But they eventually decided that would complicate the production, and it would be a huge pain in the ass trying to switch between all those mediums during shooting. So they decided to just go with CGI. However, they kept a lot of the practical effects in basically everything that was outside of the CGI. And a short list I have here is some of the examples. They used an animatronic for Dr. Stern's head transforming when the blood gets into it. So they actually used it animatronic.
So they like covered his face and then, like,
I guess
had it like pulsate.
Maybe they composited it in. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But that's one thing. All of the destruction that's wrought by Hulk throughout the entire movie, pretty much all of that is done using practical explosions and debris and basically anything he like flips over and shit. That's all. Most of that's real.
That makes sense because it looks real. Like it's especially that scene where like he like, what does he do? He throws something and it hits like the Humvee, and the Humvee like scoots across the grass. Like it looks real.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't look like CGI.
Yeah. In the factory scene when he's like crashing the big giant bottling machine through the entire factory, that's actually done using a miniature. So they made like a little miniature machine and factory and shot that. Which I thought was kind of cool because I never knew that, and I like miniature work.
Stuff.
Yeah,
yeah. That's how I feel about Which this is what I wanna. We should watch this movie at some point and discuss in the pod. But Cabin in the Woods. At the very end, where like the hand comes out of the ground and like smashes down, and like all the trees and like the house get destroyed. At first glance, you're like, "Oh, it's CGI, cool, whatever. It's a cool scene." But they actually made like a miniature, like little woods and cabin, and they like blow it up each time, and they like try to figure out which way it will look the realest. And I was like, "Wow, that makes that scene even more like cool to me."
Yeah,
but yeah,
my favorites are in like Lord of the Rings when they make actual miniatures of like the castles, and also Titanic, where James Cameron literally made like an entire fucking model of the Titanic to film it, and he like flooded the whole thing with water just to get shots of it flooding. Pretty cool. During the university battle, they destroyed a real Humvee. They like crushed it with various weights and then used that for filming. And then when Norton's fall from the helicopter was filmed where he was laying on like a green screen surface, and then they like secured him to the surface and then turned it, because like when he's falling, you know, he like turns his body a bit as he falls, right? And so they like turned the green screen surface while he was secured to it, while also pulling the camera back into the air away from him, right? And then they just like CGI'd everything using the green screen. And the director, again, joked that dropping Norton that distance for real would render him unable to act. So that's why they didn't do that for real. I don't know why. He's a very strange man. And I think that's all I have. Oh, wait, hang on. I wrote that Universal, I believe, still has the production rights, which I think we talked about already. But Mark Ruffalo and Kevin Feige have both reiterated that they could do a Hulk movie. they could do it. They just need to work with Universal on it. But they have felt that so far a lack of a standalone Hulk movie has allowed the character to be more prominent as a supporting role in many of their other movies.
Right.
Which I think is true.
Yeah, I agree.
But it does lead to, the Hulk being kind of underwritten. When I think a lot of people would like for him to seem like more of a main character. In Endgame, where you have the scene where, Iron Man and Captain America and Thor are walking up to fight Thanos. I think a lot of people would appreciate Hulk being up there with them. But he's not considered one of the big three, I guess. But,
Sadly.
that's something that, you can talk about.
As a Hulk fucking fan, like it tears my gears up. Especially because like we talked about this 1,000 times, me and Riley, but it's like they set up this whole like kind of character arc with Hulk in Infinity War, just not to do anything with it in the end game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree that a standalone Hulk movie, maybe I can get more of that. But not more of that.
I mean,
yeah.
Maybe he'll do something in She-Hulk. Never know.
Yeah,
That's coming out pretty soon.
We'll see. That's weird. It'll be weird for me.
So that's all I have for notes, and I think I've already kind of talked about. I don't know. Maybe I could talk about my general feelings, because it is a movie that I think gets a bad rap, and I've always kind of had the opinion that it's better than people make it out to be. And I've rewatched this film recently. I've rewatched it this year, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
But I don't know. This time I felt like
they have a point.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I was watching it with a more critical eye, and I don't know. I think people might be merited in their criticisms, but I think some criticisms are kind of off base, because there is a lot of stuff that I do genuinely enjoy, especially in the first and third acts.
Yeah, I haven't seen this movie in like a very long time. But to be fair, I haven't seen like a lot of the Phase 1 movies in like a very long time. But this is one of those movies I wouldn't go back to, even though I love the Hulk. I just like there's not enough there to make me want to go back to it, which is crazy because like we talked about how like Tony in a Box of Scraps guy isn't a good villain, but I would go back and watch Iron Man over and over. I love that movie. I think there's a lot there that I just really love. And yeah, and I don't know, I just don't get that same feeling with the Hulk, you know what I mean? So
yeah. I mean, I'll maintain that Iron Man 1 is like the best Phase 1 movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I was gonna like eat all the other movies I still haven't revisited. So yeah,
even Avengers.
There you go. No, I've actually recently I watched Avengers, so you know.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where I would put this one. It would have to be. I just don't know how I feel about this in comparison to Thor. I think I don't know. It's very odd. There's stuff that this movie does really well, and then stuff that Thor does really well, and then they both have their issues. But I don't know. Rewatching this, I might say Thor is better. Thor has more stuff that I like in it.
I'm gonna reserve my my judgment on that just because I watched Thor once. I just found that movie to be kind of boring. Well, everything off of Asgard is kind of boring. So,
even stuff on Asgard can be kind of boring, dude.
Yeah, but once again, I haven't seen that movie in a long time, so
right.
You're probably right, honestly. But I just remember not liking that movie all that much anyway. So
yeah, we'll have to talk about that one. But before we do that, we'd have to do Iron Man 2, which
what a treat!
Iron Man 2. I've said that Incredible Hulk gets a bad rap. I think Iron Man 2 might get the worst rap compared to how the actual quality of that movie. Because I'm not gonna say it's like a masterpiece or anything, but people fucking hate that movie.
Yeah, I had a very visceral reaction to that movie. When that credits roll, I was a really angry preteen.
Right. I don't know, but I have a lot to say about that one. And I thought I would have a lot to say about this one, but honestly, like, once it's over, I'm just like, it's just...
Yes! I feel the same exact way. Once it finished, I was like, this is a baseline superhero. It's just whatever.
I think baseline superhero movies are better than this.
Ooh, okay. What do you consider a baseline superhero movie then?
The first X-Men is a baseline superhero movie, and I think it's better than
this. Dude.
What do you consider a baseline superhero movie?
This.
Yeah,
but like,
I don't know. I just think like,
how do I feel about the original X-Men movie, and how do I feel about this movie?
It's been a long time since I've seen the original X-Men. To be
exactly, fair. But I may go back and rewatch the original X-Men movie more, but I think that's because it has a quality of cheesiness that like, and maybe because this one takes itself so serious, I can't like. You know what I mean?
Like even like the Raimi trilogy, right? The Raimi trilogy, like, it's not perfect. Like, I have problems with them, but at least they like are fun usually. Even like the fucking scenes that are supposed to be dramatic are at least fun. But whereas in this movie, there's just like scenes where it's like, this is not fun. In fact, most of the movie is like, this isn't really fun. Even the action scenes are like, they're good, and there's some fun. Like the university one's a lot of fun. And I think the Factor one's kind of a good amount of fun. The final one is just like, it's kind of cool. Like, I like some of the displays of power, but throughout most of the movie, I'm not thinking like, oh man, this is good entertainment here.
Okay.
I don't know, man.
That's fair.
I don't know, dog. It's a movie. I'll say that. It's certainly a movie. There are movies that I wouldn't call movies, and I would call this one a movie. What about you? You got any final thoughts?
It's okay. It's an okay movie. Probably won't go back and watch it unless I really am dying to see Hulk fight things, but honestly, that's what I have Ragnarok for. So, and that's a way much enjoyable movie. Top 5 at least of like Marvel movies. So, yeah, I don't know. That's about it. Incredible Hulk is okay. Go see it if you really want to. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, there's I could see people. I could see the type of person who would actually really enjoy this movie. I could see that.
There's people who like the prequels of Star Wars like a lot. I think willing to die for it.
I think the people who are ride or die for the prequels are not the same kind of people who would like this movie.
No, I'm not saying they are. I'm saying
those people are out there.
Yeah, if those people are out there, then I'm sure there's definitely a cult group of people who love to sit down every Saturday night and cut on the Incredible Hulk and just talk about how much they love Tim Roth's non-Abby body.
That's a great tangent to say that our next podcast will be about Star Wars: The Phantom Menace.
I would love for us. I wanted to do a podcast, right? Or an episode on Star Wars, but I wanted us to do each set of trilogies. Like, I don't want us to do one movie, then a podcast. Like, I want us to watch the trilogy, sit down, like, discuss all 3 movies, and then go to the prequels, discuss all 3 movies, and then sequels, and discuss all 3 movies. And then we can obviously, maybe in between those, we could, like, I don't know, watch Clone Wars at some point and review that. That's a little bit longer, though, because it's a bunch of episodes.
We can get that done. I have something. I could sort that out. But yeah, I don't know what the next one's gonna be then, because that'll probably saying that'll be a lot of work. So we have a lot of stuff we could do for the next one. We have Iron Man 2.
I mean, we can also do
and,
because we review shows too. So we still have like The Witcher.
We're trying to finish that up slowly but surely.
Yeah. The Wire, maybe possibly, because you're trying to watch 3 and 4 with Max, right? Because he hasn't seen 3 and 4 or like 3, 4, 5.
I'm waiting for us to get caught up on 2 so we can watch 3, 4, and 5 all together.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Like,
right,
like once we finish 2, like I was just saying like The Wire
right.
possibly. And then also like Better Call Saul is gonna finish like this year, right? So
in 5 weeks, I would imagine, unless they have any more delays.
Yeah, and we can talk about that. That'd be cool to talk about on the pod because there's some stuff I really want to say. Just because that show is a hidden gem for me. Personally, it's a show that I wasn't expecting much, and damn near it's like I would say my top 10 favorite shows of all time.
It's almost designed in that way, where it's like it lures you in, expecting you to not expect much from it. But that's stuff we can talk about then.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't have anything else for Incredible Hulk.
Oh man. All right. What are we gonna end this one on then? Because we usually have little ending bits.
You're
good at coming up with those.
Yeah, I usually have questions, and I do have a question for this one. No worries.
Hell yeah.
We talked about I talked about the scene where Hulk jumps out of the fucking glass, of the university glass, and he like lands or whatever.
Yeah, trailer shot.
Yeah, trailer shot. And my question to you is, what is your favorite superhero suit up moment?
Suit up moment. So not necessarily a physical suit up, but like the first time the superhero like displays themselves heroically in action as the superhero.
Or yes, or like I'm thinking like they actually like suit up, like they come out their armor. Maybe like it is kind of like a mix between like suiting up and also displaying themselves as the hero. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think I have it. I don't know about favorite. The one that immediately comes to mind though would be Tim Burton's Batman.
Okay.
That's the one that immediately comes to mind. Seeing Michael Keaton, because it starts like where it's just like close-ups of him grabbing like his gadgets and tools in the Batcave and like suiting up, and you see like the Bat logo on his suit and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then like it's him and his triumphant appearance with the fucking Danny Elfman score. I think that is kind of like the perfect like beautiful superhero, like gothic superhero entrance for me.
Yeah, that's a really cool one. I like that. Damn, there's so many cool ones, I think. I think I know Iron Man has some pretty cool ones. In a lot of different movies, he has some pretty cool like suit up moments.
Yeah.
This one's not as, I guess, impactful, but it was cool to me because of the reveal. I mean, I'm pretty sure people knew it already, but like I didn't because I'm stupid. But the Black Panther reveal in Civil War is really cool to me because you're like, he's doing all this really cool shit, and then at the very end, we're like everyone's like freeze. And they're like, show yourself. He like takes off the helmet and like you see his T'Challa. It's such like a powerful moment, but also like, yo, yeah, I really like that. That's a good suit up thing for me. I guess, or suit off, I guess, because he takes off the helmet. But it's a good reveal, you know what I mean, of like the hero.
Yeah.
So
I like how everyone there has reverence for him, like Your Highness. It's cool.
Yeah. Cool.
That's a good one. I like that. It's a good answer. Any other questions, or are we gonna limit it?
No, I think that's it.
All right. I declare this a successful podcast of the up and after variety.
Whoop whoop.
And next time, we don't know what we're doing, but we know it'll be great.
Yes. Where can people see this, Riley? Where are all the socials that is going to be on.
Okay. I think in the time between our last one, I changed my YouTube channel name to Wisolation from Jokerman3219. So if you want to find me on YouTube, you can search Wisolation. That's German for white plus elation.
Yeah, I really thought you were just gonna spell it, but all right.
Nah. People gotta find it like a treasure hunt. So that's me on YouTube. That's where this podcast will be found, as well as on Spotify for Chris. I'm sure he can point you to that. It'll be in the description as well.
The Up and After podcast on Spotify and SoundCloud, I believe. I'm still working stuff out for Apple.
Yo, we're branching out.
There was some issues there, but you could definitely find us on Spotify. I would say that's like our number one platform, so do that. You can also follow me at Modern Day Age on just about everything, on Twitter, on YouTube. Instagram is Rose Colored Boy, but I mean, if you want to follow me there, it's just I'm just a Vixio girl, so you don't Visco girl. You don't have to follow me there, but yeah, definitely Modern Day Age and everything else, and that's kind of it. So I got.
Chris is a multi-platform threat. You won't find me on Twitter, no sir. But you can find me on Twitch occasionally, again, at Wisolation. I'm not there often, but occasionally I will be on there. Usually doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, but honestly, I've kind of dropped off that game because, my god, Konami, what did you do? Anyway, that'll be it. I think that's it for me. I got YouTube, I got Twitch, and that's kind of it. And Chris has all his socials because he is a social paragon of the media.
Dude, definitely hit the subscription box on that Modern Day Age kid, dude. He's coming up. He's trying to make movies himself. Hopefully, they're not as a slug in a rug like the Incredible Hulk sometimes, but they might be, and I'm okay to opinions on that. But yeah, definitely go hit that subscription button, and we can find out together whether or not I could be a good filmmaker.
Yeah,
so
I can confirm I'm subscribed, and I don't regret it.
Hey, good.
All right. Good. Bye-bye.
You will soon.
Yes, I'm sure. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.